Are vehicles you can find in War Thunder. This strange-looking Russian truck is a very unique vehicle. In itself, it's not an awful tank to use. However, what makes it weird is the turret it utilizes. In fact, it's quite literally from a standard T-26.
Yeah, I totally agree. That is a very bizarre looking truck, and yes, it is of course Russian because the Russians made such interesting things back during the interwar period going into World War II. Specifically what we're talking about here, my friends, is the BA series of armored cars. Which is an absolutely fascinating vehicle to talk about because genuinely speaking, I don't know what the hell the Russians were thinking of when they tried to create this thing in the first place. Because as the name armored car implies, yes, this was a literal armored car with 15 millimeters of armor and then a tank turret strapped to the top of it that fired 45 millimeter rounds. Keep that number in mind because remember in early World War II, a lot of early tanks had like 40 millimeter guns. And this is on an armored car. Now, the basic idea behind a heavily armed armored car is pretty easy to understand. You want something that is lighter and more maneuverable to move around, but still heavy enough to pack a punch to take out enemy armor, which yes, technically speaking, this thing could do. But still, this thing had so many weaknesses. Because it was so heavily armed, it was too heavy to go off-road. It would just sink into the ground. And, not to mention, what would end up happening is that in order to be able to carry that gun and still be able to move, the armor was only 15 millimeters thick, meaning basic machine gun fire was able to penetrate this vehicle. The Russians really did like to experiment with things, but unfortunately a light tank would have done this guy's job so much better.